This is a tune that I've missed, man. It's been far too long. Seeing my boy on the other side.
Yeah.
Yo, people, we are back. We are back.
Yes,
I
sir.
know we had the interlull previously, and that was due to a bit of life, things in life that were occurring. On my side of things, I've got a new job, so I'm in the job market. I am applying my trade here in the UK, and it's going well.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Tyler's side, the man was doing some international holidaying, if I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
mistaken. Is that right?
yeah. Yeah, just a quick trip to New Zealand to visit my sister. Um, those people that know me personally might have seen on my story that my dad surprised me. I had no idea he was going to be there until until we got there. So that was really sick because the first time my sister and I were together there with him. So yeah, that's where we were during the interlull, and obviously couldn't record, time
Yeah.
differences in New Zealand and etc. But yeah, we're back, and it's good to be back. Feels great to be back.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And it's important, man, that family time. You gotta cherish it. It's honestly so great. And as always, we always say that we have a really interesting and jam-packed show. This is no different. Today,
Mm-hmm.
I want to kick off things with a question. The question I have for Ty today is, you have those moments where things just blow your mind and you're like, what? I didn't even think that this was a possibility. How is this a
Mm-hmm.
thing? Um, so essentially, I just want to ask you when, if you can recall when, or what are the things that have blown your mind, like throughout
Okay.
life? If there's some notable things that you want to pick out.
Yes, yes, there have been a few. But I'm thinking about things specifically from my childhood. So I'll speak about
Yeah.
three things, starting from possibly the one that, in terms of the order of mind blownness, if you want to call it that. So the first one I'm gonna say, and it was obviously in relation to my age, was a Tamagotchi. I
What?
found, yeah, I found that device crazy because, like, overnight, remember if you didn't feed it, it died.
Mm.
You remember that? I found it mind blowing that it had, like, that it could stay alive for so long, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it
Yeah.
had the capacity to die when I was a kid, and I was really bad at taking care of them. So, like, did you get to restart? Oh yeah, you had to push that little button at the back to
Yeah, you had
reset
to get
it.
like a pencil or
Like a,
a
yes,
key.
yes.
Yeah.
And I killed a few of them. But
Those.
yeah, so that blew my mind, right? The second one was, do you remember the Mighty Beans? So they were those toys that we got from McDonald's at a stage, and then they also came out in the stores.
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? And they were like, they
I
had
know
like different,
exactly what you.
and if you put them on a
Oh,
hill, they would walk. If you know what I'm saying, they're. Do you
yesterday.
remember those things?
Man, that's a throwback. If you guys were to imagine it, it's almost like if you know what a Russian babushka doll is. It's almost
Yes.
like that with the face painted on it, and it had
Mm.
like various different characters.
Yes, yes. And it had a weight in it. But I remember at the
Yeah.
time it killed me, like when you put it on a whatever and you lifted and then it would walk. And then they
Yeah.
actually started making tracks for it. And that thing blew my mind because of the way, like, I wasn't very good at science as a kid. So like the physics of how it worked and just gravity, I was like, oh my word, this thing is crazy. And then the third thing, and this was the ultimate thing that blew my mind. Do you remember the power band that athletes wore for a stage? It was like
Like a
a
yellow
rubber
thing.
band. Yeah, it was like yellow, and it had like a reflecting kind of eye thing that was on it, and it was like it increased their performances. So like Tiger Woods wore it. There were some tennis
Mm.
players that wore it, and I remember when you used to buy it at the shop, the test used to be like you would stand, like the salesman make you stand there, and he like pushes you and you like lose your balance or whatever, and then he's like, okay, now put it on, and then you put it on and he pushes you and you're like more solid. I don't know if you remember like that
I
power
do.
band.
I think didn't
So
you have it at a stage as well?
yeah, man, that's why I was an elite athlete. That's why I'm an international sportsman, because I mean, I don't know
This
what more
guy
to say
is
to you.
he's going on tours. I'm just saying, it's a
Overseas.
privilege to even get a slice of his time and fit me into his busy schedule.
But interestingly, about those power bands, just a random fact, they were proven to be a placebo, And what happened is somebody took them to court because they said like you selling like fake merchandise that it's not doesn't do what you say it does. However, they won the court case because they were like, even though it's a placebo effect, if you look at the numbers, what we say it does, it actually does. So like we said it increases this person's performances, and it actually did that for Tiger Woods, Roger Federer. As soon as the or I don't know if it was Roger Federer, but definitely Tiger Woods. But as soon as the placebo effect was exposed, it was not, now the thing didn't work anymore. But they actually won the court case on the fact that it was a placebo. But anyway, yeah, that thing and that story alone actually blew my mind.
That is
How about you?
that's fascinating. Jeez, man. Yo, you've really taken me back with that.
The mighty bean.
Little mighty beans, man. Actually, one day if you probably find someone that's like a collector on eBay or something.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
A full collection. But things that blew my mind. One was the airplane, the Concorde. I think it was called the Concorde, which
Okay.
it was essentially the fastest commercial airplane that could
Yes.
take you between, I think the main routes were like London, New York, whatever, in like half, if not a third of the time. And I was like,
Yes.
what? How is this even possible?
I remember,
I
yeah.
had a family friend that had traveled on it, and she said, wow, incredible. I tried to have a nap, and next thing I knew, I was already in New York, and I'm like, bruh,
Hey, big man things. Who are you friends with?
That's insane. Uppers, man.
Oh, yeah?
Way back in the
Oh,
Netherlands.
wow. Based on the conversation we just had before this, I must agree with you, yeah?
Not to
But hold your tongue, yeah?
toot my own horn here. And the second thing I'd say was, so being a sound guy, was Dolby Atmos. So everyone obviously got used to surround sound in cinema and at home, but Dolby Atmos added that extra layer, which was essentially the speakers system that are above people. So you almost enclosed in sound. And what was so fascinating about it is the level of sound design that audio engineers were able to do, in
Okay.
which, if I were to explain a scene like rainfall, so they did a test demo at one of these conventions back in South Africa called MediaTek, and they did a demo of, I think it was about 8 speakers, 2, 4, 6, 8, no, 10
Yeah.
speakers in closed space, and they had a scene from a movie where the character was walking through rain, and it actually
Yeah.
I could feel like cold
Oh,
as if I
wow.
was in there.
Okay.
And the second clip that they used was an F1 driver. So
Mm-hmm.
you're in the seat of the F1 car and things are just whizzing by, but it
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
so immersive. I think that's the one thing that was like, what?
I'm sure that
This
is, I
is
mean, for those of us that are not
insane.
that into sound, we just experienced that. We didn't understand like what the change was. But have they thought about putting sounds in the floor now? Because imagine if you're talking about the rain thing, so you have the sound of the rain falling, and then if the sound guys can make the sound of it hitting the floor coming from beneath you, or
Whoa.
am I not,
Okay.
am I reading into
You
it
try
too
and
much?
mix that in. They just need a lot more speakers to accurately place it around. But
Okay.
I imagine that being immersed into like a 4DX type of
Yes.
experience as well. So a
Okay.
lot
Yeah.
of, I guess, movement when we're thinking, well, where technology's taking us, and
Yes.
the possibilities seem to be endless. And speaking of, I
Yeah.
think we've seen the immersion and the growth of AI.
Yeah.
Seen just how far AI has come and just the things that it can do. I think this past week we came across the track that was released by AI Drake and AI Weekend,
Yes.
titled Heart on My Sleeve.
Hard on my sleeve.
And
Yeah.
it is a bop of note. All of this created by AI. Whoever the creator was, I was struggling to get his name, but he essentially used the power of AI. So if you imagine like a chat GPT functionality, but with something that actually creates music,
Yeah.
He put in a description of Drake featuring The Weeknd, and I think he typed in some of the lyrics himself, and then AI ran
Yes.
with that, and he got a hit. It became so popular though that the respective music labels had to pull it from all streaming platforms, as it was seen as a um, what's the correct
Would it
legal
be a
term here?
copyright infringement? Is it? Not
Copyright
really? Something like
infringement
that?
would probably be the easiest one to describe it as, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, the power of AI
Kind of
is
slaps though, hey?
it does.
That track kind of slaps
It's
though.
really a bop.
Like,
And my question to you was, obviously there's a lot of positives and pros to AI
yes.
and our
Yes.
usage of it, but there's likely quite a few negatives as well.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have any thoughts on, I guess, your experience with AI, where you see it going, and maybe some of the negative aspects of AI?
So I actually, funny enough, before this, I saw on Instagram there was a post. It was these guys from Stanford, and it always feels like it's people from Stanford or MIT that come up with these things.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so what it is it's like this pair of glasses, and on one of the sides, it's like got a monocle on the glasses. And what happens is when you're talking to someone, it has GPT-4 in built into that little lens.
Yeah.
And what it does is, so like you asked me that question, and basically it would generate an answer for me, which is again mind blowing in itself. But yeah, in terms of the pros and cons, it feels like with this immersion of AI, you're getting this birth, these different schools of thought that come out. You get like the people that are like kind of anti AI, and they like, and I don't mean like in terms of like revolutionists or whatever that are like it's going to take over the world, which who knows. Funny enough, they actually also plugged in ChatGPT into a Furby, and it like, you remember Furbies, those things that
Yeah,
when they get
little
wet they
yeah.
become the gremlins or whatever. And it said some disturbing things like, like about like eradicating the human race and like stuff like that. So I mean, there is maybe a little bit of scariness, but I think that the AI took the code of acting like a Furby. But anyway, so that's the one school of thought that you get, is like people that are anti-AI, or like they are in denial about what it is and the impact that it will have. And then the other school of thought is like the people that kind of like are excited about it and use it a little bit as much as we can as everyday people, because let's be real, ChatGPT and the art that we have access to is like nothing compared to what it's doing. How, I don't know what this guy used to make the song. Like I've never seen anything like that. Like what AI
Oh,
is he using? Chair link there, you know?
yeah,
So
boy.
but in terms of the positives, I think that there's a lot that there are, I think it really helps create a sense of efficiency. I think a lot of tasks, like menial tasks that we didn't have to do before, can be automated now. There's an AI that can unsubscribe you from all the things that are sending you spam mail. I mean, that's awesome.
That's so useful. I could use that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's so many like little ones. There's ones that you can use to create slideshow presentations. There's the art ones I find are pretty out there and pretty abstract. I struggle with them, but
yeah.
I think they can increase efficiency. They definitely can make like convenience, for us, like by things like shopping, like automated shopping, if you wanted it to do it. So I think there's a lot of pros to it. In terms of the cons, for me, I think the one thing that I think is a major con is like, obviously AI is a language written by someone, which
Yeah.
means that there's going to be integrated bias into it. And we as everyday people will never ever know or be able to see it because we don't understand the code. So the more dependent we become on it, the one big con that I think might develop is that, not in terms of like, oh, it's going to program my toaster to kill me, but like this thing of like, I'm going to become dependent on something that was designed in a way that I can never understand what is pulling the strings of it. And the same token, I don't understand much about cars, and I'm very dependent on a car as well. So I guess it's the same thing. But the fact that these innate biases are built into it, and subconsciously built into it, so it brings into like this ethical question into discussion. Like how ethical is it? Like, like using it if you use it to identify high risk criminals. Like at what point there was even a movie where the AI thing was killing people before because it was like it deemed people in a certain area to be more likely to become criminals because of their background. And do you know what I'm saying? I know it's just a movie, but I'm just saying that for me would be like the major con if I had to kind of think of one. How about you? Pros and cons?
Pros, definitely I would say there's the spectrum of possibility. I think it's opened up our eyes to a lot. If you're looking at things like, I think from the fun point of view, like when you mentioned the art aspect of it. So we saw the popular tracks being made. I've seen renditions of how different directors would go about making a film. So he gave it like a base entry. It says Wes Anderson making The Matrix,
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick making The Matrix, and it was so cool to see what the visual interpretation of this would be. I think from a functionality point of view, a lot of these mundane, repetitive tasks, it does make
Yes.
things a lot easier. We are a a species that lives off and thrives off convenience. So
Yeah. Yeah.
a lot of these are definitely big pluses. I think the negative aspect would one of the first considerations would be jobs.
Yeah.
Whether your job has been made redundant by ChatGPT, and that's actually led me to an article on Business Insider where
Okay.
the title is called ChatGPT may be coming for our jobs. Here are 10 roles that AI is most likely to replace. The article goes on to say, since its release in November of last year, OpenAI's ChatGPT has been used to write cover letters, create a children's book, and even help students cheat on their essays. This chatbot
Yeah, for
could
sure.
be more powerful than we ever imagined. Google found that in theory, the search engine would hire the bot as an entry-level coder if it interviewed at a company.
Sure.
Very interesting to note.
Yeah.
So it goes down a little further and it starts getting into some of the actual job roles. First of
Yeah.
which, tech jobs. So coders, computer programmers, software engineers, and data analysts.
Yeah.
Coding and computing, so this would be the most notable one, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Coding and computer programming are an in-demand skill, but is it possible that ChatGPT and similar AI technology can fill in some of the gaps in the near future? Tech jobs such as software developers, web developers, computer programmers, coders, and data scientists are pretty amenable to AI technologies, displacing more of their work.
Do you know what's crazy about that? Is that like I remember like when we were in school and stuff, it was like, okay, I'm not just saying this because I flopped IT, which I did. I'll say that I flopped IT like bad. I had to change to CAT. I remember last minute change. Um, in more than one way. Get what I'm saying? No, I'm talking about the subject at school. But I remember there was a time that was like, oh, those that are going into coding at university are going to be
Yes,
like, you set for life. Like, this is the way
irreplaceable.
the
This is
world is
it.
moving. This is it.
Exactly.
Like, you good. Like, this is like the future. And now it's kind of like, even when I search up like different jobs that I think see becoming redundant, off, not that I'm saying it will, but it often comes up that like coding people, I'm just like, you know, it be your closest friends that kill you,
Oof.
man.
Oof. The thing that you have invested so much time, so much effort into
Oh,
understanding in order to implement is the very same thing that makes you redundant. Oof,
yeah.
live by the sword, die by the
Live
sword,
by the
man.
sword.
Sheesh. Okay. Oh, this is a troubling one to note. Media jobs, advertising, content creation, technical writing, and journalism. So I might be out of a job very soon. Media jobs across the board, including those in advertising, technical writing, journalism, and any role that involves content creation, may be affected by ChatGPT in similar forms. Oh,
Yeah, I've heard that
okay.
as well.
Next was legal industry jobs, paralegals and legal assistants. So it
Okay.
looks like if you're a partner or well, I guess a
It's
more
like the
established
research
lawyer.
people. It's
Yeah,
like the research people, the people that help assist the lawyers before the case and
exactly,
stuff. Yeah.
exactly. Because you still need that human element to go about pleading your case in court.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
The next group of jobs are market research analysts. Okay, that makes a lot of
Okay.
sense. Oh, you don't want to hear this one.
Yeah,
Teachers
tell me.
is the next category.
We're
Teachers
gonna
across
talk
the
about
country are
this, yeah?
worried about students using ChatGPT to cheat on their homework, but according
Mm-hmm.
to Peng Cheng, she, an associate dean in the Department of Computing and Information Sciences at Rochester Institute of Technology, they should also be thinking about their job security.
Yeah.
So, although it has bugs and inaccuracies in terms of knowledge, this can be easily improved, he said. Basically, you just need to train the ChatGPT.
Yeah. I've
Okay.
heard that as well. We'll talk about that, but yeah.
Yeah. A few more jobs I'll just quickly skim through. Finance jobs, financial analysts, personal financial advisors,
Uh-huh.
traders. Whoa. Okay, financial traders. Again, one of those roles that is heavily
Yeah, yeah.
promoted, and you're seen as I guess like Wolf of Wall Street. It's
Yeah, I
very
was just thinking, yeah.
lucrative, very yeah, I guess a job that everyone tries to
Yeah.
get into the right stream for. Graphic designers is another one. Accountants, man, this is really breaking down the walls of what I thought an established career would
Yeah.
offer
For
job
sure.
role.
For
Customer
sure.
service agents is the
Uh-huh.
final
That makes
one.
sense.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So like I think also there's obviously like retail, I think is also in danger, like that kind of job. Like I think I saw that maybe was it in Japan? I don't know, but there's a McDonald's that has a completely automated everything. There's not a single human being that works in that McDonald's that I can't remember. Maybe it's Germany. I can't remember where it is. So I think that kind of job. But like I kind of feel like this is something that we should be leaning into as opposed to fighting against. So like when you read that thing about it maybe taking over or me losing my job, like maybe
yeah,
teaching becoming redundant, to it. I really don't believe in a lot of cases, even in terms of content creation and all that kind of stuff, I really don't see it being there at that point yet because like for example, right now I'm busy planning the prom event that's
yeah,
happening tomorrow with my students. Okay, and it's a huge event and everything. And obviously, AI could go through the semantics of planning it, emailing it, booking the venues, and etc. However, the little nuances and the specific connections that you have with your students, not just in planning an event, but with anything, that can never ever empathy can never ever be generated by AI, and what we need to do and what I found that I need to do is that like I don't fight with ChatGPT. I don't fight with my students using ChatGPT, right? Because I kind of feel like, as a teacher, my job is to empower the students and this is a tool that they have. So they should be using it. And in fact, I use ChatGPT for my lesson planning often. Like if I can't think of an assignment, I literally just go there and I'm like, I give it the
yes,
criteria
mm,
and it just gives me the whole thing. And I ask it for rubrics, I ask it for everything, and it just generates it for me, right? Those redundant tasks we were talking about.
yeah,
But at the same time, I don't have a fear that because it will never be able to. It might be able to teach knowledge better than I will, but it will never be able to care about my students the way I do. It will never be able to, like I said, share empathy towards my students the way I do. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of jobs are gonna need that. It's the same with content creation. They can get really good and write really interesting, but it lacks that feeling of like, I don't know. I just don't think that all our jobs are going to become, even in content creation, working in the media, I don't think it will become like that big, at least not anytime soon, until they
yeah,
find a way of doing it differently. I don't know.
exactly. And
After reading that, you feel stressed?
it's given me something to think about. I think in what you're saying, there is a lot of human element and human nuances that can't be replicated by technology. It can teach you, in terms of teaching, it's teaching up to a certain point, but I think a lot of learning, and I can attest to it personally, that I found a lot more understanding and a lot more, um, I guess, better grasp of concepts and subjects through the variety of approaches that teachers
Yeah.
have given me. So if I take maths as an example, maths is black and white. This is the
Yeah.
answer. This isn't the answer. You're right or you're wrong. But the method or the means in which I get to that answer varies completely. And it's
Yeah.
through understanding which of these variants worked for me, helped me get to the end result. So I think
Yeah.
that's the one area, like you say, customer service. Oh man, customer service is something that, firstly, South Africa, I just want to give you a big round of applause for what customer service looks like and the level at which it's done. I didn't give you enough praise when I was in SA, but customer service is actually such a big thing. It has a massive impact on your mood, your day,
Yeah. Yeah.
your environment, and
Mm.
it's one thing that I need to praise South Africa for. That's something that I think um, is even something that I'd be willing to pay an extra or an optional or a premium for.
Yeah.
If I'm going to a restaurant, I understand that from a convenience and from an efficiency point of view, I'll get my food likely faster because it's just being done in the background. But the
Yeah.
human interaction is something that you can't
Yes.
um, negate. It's
I
really
agree.
a
Yeah.
special aspect of a lot of our day to day, and I think that even in content creation, like you're mentioning, content creation, we look to get buy-in from people, and
Yeah.
buy-in is based off on familiarity and relatable. How
Yeah.
relatable are you to a speaker, to a piece of content? And that comes from personal experience. And because our experience differs, we have some similarities in our lived experience, but there's always going to be a difference. And it's in that
Yes.
difference is that there's a uniqueness. So
Yeah.
I think we're still
Yeah.
safe. The big vibe is still strong.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I
We are
agree.
constantly churning out and we're challenging things. We are not stuck in a particular box. And I think it's something that really makes this such a nice space, this interaction
Yeah.
between you and I, between us and our viewers, listeners. It's something that keeps us in a job. It keeps us
Mm.
coming back every week. And it's something that I don't think we'll see diminish
Yeah. Yeah.
easily.
No, I think so too. I think also like we are kind of like in a hype phase of it right now. Not that I'm saying that it is only hype. I do think this is a world changing phenomenon. Like there's Bill Gates was saying like that this is going to be the biggest thing since the internet. And I believe that it is going to change things. But at the same time, like I don't I maybe I'm a humanist in that I think that people will come that we it's not actually a challenge, it's an opportunity, and it's all about the lens that you look at this thing through. You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at it as a threat and that it's going to take your job or whatever, then you need to look at yourself a little bit and wonder why it's something like this is able to make you question yourself so much. But if you look at it more as an opportunity, like I've been trying to think of ways I can actually integrate it into my lessons, like getting kids to use it, like, and then we go from there, like we use that as a platform to jump forward. So I don't think the hype is gonna like the bubble's not just gonna burst like the NFT hype kind of
Mm.
thing. But I think there is a large sense of hype that's around it right now, and there's this like because we like to know things, right? And every you think about Jarvis from Iron Man, and then
Yeah.
Ultron that came along and broke Jarvis, and
Yeah.
yeah, he misunderstood or not misunderstood. He took the number one directive from Tony Stark, which is to protect the world, and he ends up coming. So like we look at it through this like fear mongering kind of perspective where it's like we don't know where it's going, so it's very much like scary. But at the same time, like I said, I think it's more of an opportunity than like a thing that we should be scared of.
Exactly. And like you said many times, it's a tool. It's a tool in
Yeah.
which we leverage to get certain outputs done or certain things done. And as long as we just remember that it is a tool and it it isn't necessarily the object that's getting us to point B. That's gonna really help us here. And in rounding off the discussion of AI, some good news for all of you, those of you that are sitting now, trying to reorder and completely redo your CV before you put it out on LinkedIn, is that there are some things that AI can't figure out as yet. Tyler and I spoke about the human element and the nuance of human interaction. And a fun thing that I came across on the Good Things Guys website was a trending topic that reads, "Trending, AI can't figure out how humans eat spaghetti or pizza." In the article, there's a bunch of images that was created using AI, and the way in which all of these characters are trying to consume very basic everyday food is ridiculous. So the article goes on to say AI has come a long way in just a matter of months, but it still can't seem to figure out how humans eat pizza or pasta. AI is a field of computer science that focuses on creating computer systems or machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, perceiving, and interacting with the environment. The possibilities seem endless, but not just yet. Various social media users are posting flaws in AI machine learning, which won't be there for long, but we can still find funny for now. One of the flaws is that AI photo can't seem to figure out how humans eat pizza. And it has a lady, the one photo has a lady with a bowl. She's sitting cross-legged.
On the road.
On the road with pizza in her hand, almost as how people would hold up a slice of pizza. The next image is again guys using their hands to eat spaghetti, and it's just not working out for them, man.
No, this is funny. And the pizza ones are like, they make them look like demons. Kind of like wonders about like what's the perspective that they're writing this in. Maybe we'll, in the overlay of the video, we'll post some of the pictures here, and I think I'll have a stab at trying to make like a social media content that's outside of this video, so like outside of our episode. So I'm gonna have a stab at something like that, that'll talk about this
technology, man.
Yeah, let's try it out. Why not? But yeah, I think that is quite it's a nice wholesome moment there.
There we go, and that's how we always wrap up our show. So again,
for sure,
if you listened in, don't forget to follow us on our various social pages, all found down below. Like, comment, subscribe, share with all of your friends and family. Next week, we're going to get back into our routine of asking you a question. So you be on the lookout for one of those on our social media.
Yes, please.
Yeah, and then we look to get your opinions from the human aspect. I also want to say thanks to this guy, Lyle Foster. We had the very fortunate opportunity of meeting him several times, and what a humble, down to earth man. His club's got promoted back into the Premier League, so I'm just wishing you the very best, Lyle. Thanks again for being the great human that you are.
I like that.
Likewise with Ty, man. Ty, dude, I couldn't do this without you, and man, the journey continues.
Hey, same to you, my brother. It was a lonely 2 weeks without you. I'm not gonna lie. I missed the big vibe, and I missed this. We couldn't have done this with an AI generated bot. You know, I've tried a few times on ChatGPT just to see what it would do to write some sort of script for us, and it doesn't do what we do. Well, not yet. Who knows if it will, but it doesn't yet. And until it does, we'll be there and we'll be around. We'll always be watching people like Lyle Foster, because AI will never be able to do that. And we'll keep vibing together because, I mean, that's just what we do here, man.
Amen, amen. So have fun at the prom tomorrow. All these attendees, I hope you are burning the dance floor with all your sneaky techie there. Everyone else, we'll catch you again, same time, same place next week. Bye for now.
See you later.